All right, you guys. I have Lacey with us here. I remember her name. Sometimes I have problems with names. And I wanted to talk a lot about how to go place. How to manage behaviors and how that produces exactly what we want 100% of the time. Okay. So your request was, I really want to go camping with her, but there's a lot of situations where dogs come up. Yes. There's a lot of situations where dogs come up and then she reacts. She gets fixated on them and starts to bark and get crazy and emotionally compromised. What you guys rather her do is focus on you anytime that's happening. Absolutely reasonable request. The prerequisites to getting this correct, this behavior achieved, is already establishing certain key things, like we've been going over, right? What healing is, what engagement is. When I say your name, it should mean that you look at me, etc., right? So we install these basic features. It's like a car that has a heated seats or heated steering wheel or the moonroof function, right? So you have these features. However, if the driver of that car doesn't push the button to turn on the heated seats or push the button to open the moonroof, those things are not just going to happen automatically. And if they happen automatically and you don't want it, like right here, go place. Every time something happens automatically that you don't want, you have to close that window again, right? You have to say that that wasn't right. So what I'm talking about is it relates to this dog here is, go place. Right now, I'm managing this dog and her behaviors. My objective is, as I do this video for you guys, you will lay quietly and patiently the whole time. Okay, so what I'm doing, even though I'm talking to you, is I'm rewarding, yes, every time I achieve that goal, right? So every time she's laying there quietly and calmly and hanging out, I am going to, yes, and give her a piece of food or praise or whatever it is to affirm for her what you're doing right now is the right thing. But just the same way as I talk to you and I'm paying attention to her, the moment she starts to whine and get off, I'm gonna be like, nope, that's not time for that yet. Get back on there. And it's through this process I'm arriving at my goal of making her lay there while I talk. Now, this same strategy applies everywhere. So I have to talk a little bit about what a behavior is. A behavior is everything. It could be moving from A to B. It could be looking here to looking there, smelling this to smelling that. Everything can be considered a behavior. Therefore, every behavior can receive feedback in the positive, neutral, or in the negative, okay? So we're going to talk about a couple of those examples here. A behavior like, hey, I called upon a sit, and the dog sits. Immediately, that's going to get a positive reinforcement because the dog did what I asked. That's a behavior that I like, and I want to produce that behavior over and over again. So therefore, I'm going to positively reinforce that behavior. Now, there's going to be certain things that she goes around the house maybe, and as a fly passes by her face, she takes a chomp at it. I'm not going to say anything to that behavior because I don't really want that behavior. I don't really want it to stop either. That's one of those behaviors that is non-consequential to me, so I put no information to it. Now, if I see her looking at my dinner plate and then she's coming over to take something off of my dinner plate, I'm 100% going to negatively, sorry, there's a mosquito by the camera lens, we're going to negatively reinforce the dinner plate situation, right? And through these feedback events, the dog starts to learn, Mom loves it when I sit and listen to her. Mom doesn't care about me doing flies and stuff like that, but Mom absolutely doesn't like it when I try to steal food from their dinner plates. Now, those are the most obvious examples, okay? I hope you guys are tracking with me because we're going to go into some more obscure examples that this is where I think 99% of all people come short, okay? Now, let's say she is experiencing a sound or an object and she has like a funny temperament that way where she'll get a little frightened about random things. So let's say that she gets emotionally compromised by somebody with an umbrella, okay? and maybe she starts to react in a negatively emotional kind of a way. Maybe she gets scared, and maybe she starts raising her hair on her back, and now you know she's gonna start to potentially get aggressive and bark, right? So as we observe this whole thing happen, what most people will do is stay silent and quiet until the dog starts to negatively bark. And then they want to stop it and they want to calm her down, etc., etc., etc. But what I see as a dog trainer is 6 or 7 missed opportunities to have changed the course of how this was going to play out, right? So, and those 6 or 7 behaviors that got no response, that got no feedback, well, in that situation, this no response acts as an enabler, right? Because you didn't stop the dog thinks this process, this transition, this step-by-step path that I'm on, that's gonna end up in me reacting and barking, it's already set. That path is set and I'm on that path. But since no one told me it was not good to be on that path, I have arrived at my objective of barking. So what I would do in that situation is, as I notice her notice something, and maybe my objective is to make sure she never loses focus of me, the moment her attention goes from me to those other dogs, I need to give her some feedback on that behavior. I need to be like, heel, or look, or come. Anything that she is fluent, yes. Anything that she is fluent at doing, I'm gonna ask her to do. In this moment, she's gonna realize the moment I looked away, my mom didn't like that, and then she told me something else that made me re-engage. So, first I give feedback to help the dog know what they just did, look away, what's wrong. And then as soon as they look back, I give positive feedback to let them know that's exactly what I want. And as you guys saw in that video from last night, she was able to put that together really fast. So it's good to have treats that are high value, that the dog really wants, but at the same time, if you miss your job really is of managing her behaviors, every one of them, and she's able to snowball into this other thing, then the food or whatever you do at that point won't matter anyway, right? She's already compromised. So what I'm talking about is making sure you got your treats, you got your leash, but you yourself are ready to be aware of what the dog is thinking, what the dog is doing, and then arriving at that objective by getting there yourselves, by making sure that it actually happens through the feedback system. Okay, I hope all that made sense. Let's talk a little bit about what we've arrived at here, right? You guys saw this happen live as I talked. She had a little bit of a hard time in the beginning, trying to stay patient, but with the feedback and me catching her and me rewarding the positives and catching the negatives, we've arrived at a dog that's calmly and patiently just waiting for me, right? And hanging out. Lexie's been going in and out. There's other things going on, but over here she hasn't looked away from me. And again, I'm gonna reward her for that one more time. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Anyways, you guys, I really hope that made sense. As you guys watch this video, if any of you guys think of any questions, please feel free to get those questions to me. I will be happy to make you another video. Anyways, thanks again.